This video is sponsored by Keeps. Hey guys, Maven here. Now, as a former WWE wrestler, the one thing I could not live without, my gear bag. So today we're gonna take a look inside and I'm gonna show you all the things I needed to wrestle 365 days a year. Now, the first and arguably most important thing is the bag itself. And I learned this firsthand on day one as a WWE wrestler. As I arrived at the arena, and I had a duffel bag with me. Now, as I did what I needed to do for the show that night, I took my happy little self back in the locker room and went to kneel down by my duffel bag, and it was nowhere to be seen. I was being taught a valuable lesson day one, and it was at the expense of my duffel bag. Now, it took a while to find my bag, but as somebody smartened me up, they told me to look up, and there it was. In the ceiling, my duffel bag had been chained to the rafters. It took me a while to get it down, and once I did, I realized the duffel bag was now strapless. So I was stuck carrying a bag like this through the airport, and I was told, get a rolling bag. I immediately went home, went to a store, and bought a rolling bag very similar to this because I realized my bag was a part of my toolkit, and everybody knows you have to have your tools with you if you plan to do your job successfully. Now, before we open this bag, and every wrestler knows this fact, this bag you never check at any airport. I would also learn this firsthand. We flew into Newark, New Jersey, had a non-televised event in Trenton that night. My checked clothes bag was nowhere to be seen, but since I carried this on, it was there with me. I can do my job without my clothes. I can't do my job without my gear. Every wrestler learns immediately, never, ever check your gear bag. And this has stayed on me at all times. Now, let's take a look at what's inside. Now, the most important aspect of this bag is the gear itself. So let's see what we have. Obviously, every wrestler has their boots, their elbow and knee pads, and their trunks. Ooh, nah, they're clean. I washed them a couple months ago. And most wrestlers are gonna have something that allows them to get a quick pump before they go out. Most guys would carry bands of some sort always in my bag. And lastly, my athletic tape. Now, I played baseball my entire life, but guys would wrap their wrists for different reasons. I thought it just was a good look. And as I wore different colored trunks, I would match my colored trunks with my colored wrist tape. So that's everything on the gear side. As long as I had this, as long as this was with me all the time, I could do my job. I would watch guys who maybe their gear didn't make a flight and they were scrambling, hoping someone could loan them boots, loan them trunks, loan them pads, loan them anything. So don't be that guy, in essence, asking another grown man, can I wear your underwear for that night? Your boys need to play in their yard. Case closed. Now, I didn't start wearing boots. I would wear sneakers for my first few matches in the WWE, but that's only because my boots weren't ready, weren't ordered, weren't in my possession at that time. And wrestlers wear boots because it gives it more of a gladiator style look. And we all know wrestlers are modern day gladiators, so the boots give that great look, that great visual appeal. And actually, my first pair of wrestling boots came courtesy of Triple H. As I was progressing and as I was moving out of just being the tough enough kid, I had a match and they wanted me to look more of the part. Obviously, I wasn't getting a pair of boots delivered by that night. And Hunter had a crate there, and in the crate, there was a pair of wrestling boots, and he didn't like the aesthetics of them. They came above the calf, and he said he was never going to wear them. I tried to pay him, I tried to offer him some compensation for it. He wasn't hearing any of it. He told me they were a gift from him to me, and I'm extremely thankful and grateful to this day that he was there for me in my time of need. But I would actually repay that debt a few years later in the form of knee pads. When they brought Bobby Lashley down to OVW, I was rehabilitating an injury and Bobby did not have knee pads. I actually had an extra pair in my bag and I offered them, he accepted them, and I was happy to help play a role in his success. And I'm not saying that my knee pads led to Bobby Lashley's success, but I'm also not saying it didn't. You be the judge. And lastly, on this side of my bag was one other thing. Oh, it's actually the sponsor of today's video, Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will contract male pattern baldness. And believe me, I know, I'm one of the 2. I mean, look at what I looked like as a child. Unfortunately, my time of having a luscious head of hair, it's gone. But it doesn't have to be like that for you. And that's why I teamed up with Keeps. They offer professional hair loss care that's tailored to address your unique needs and concerns. Everything is done through an online consultation, and Keeps is delivered directly to you. So if you want to prevent hair loss, boost your hair growth, or simply improve the health of the hair you have, Keeps has everything you need. Thanks to Keeps for sponsoring this video and for the free product. Hair loss stops here and now with Keeps. For a special offer to get started, go to keeps.com/Maven Huffman or click the link in the description. That's KEEPS.com/MAVENHUFFMAN. And a special thanks to Keeps for sponsoring this video and for the free product. So this is everything that I needed in the ring, but a WWE wrestler needs so much more stuff outside of the ring. So let's take a look at what all that is. What made this style bag was great is I could separate the two. My ring gear went in here and all the other stuff I need for daily life went in the other side. The first thing I'm gonna show you is a little trick I picked up along the way. After you get out of the ring, you're a sweaty mess. The first thing you need is a shower. Now, arenas, they didn't come equipped with towels. They didn't offer us soap for our showers, but I had a fix to this. Every hotel I would go to, I would borrow one of their towels. I would take a bar of soap and put it in there, and no matter where I went, I was ready for my shower, because after you get out of the ring, you're gonna be filthy. Now, besides the sweat, filth, and just the disgusting stuff found on a wrestling ring, most wrestlers were also washing off their baby oil, because everybody knows we lather ourselves in this stuff. Now, the WWE, they would provide us baby oil, but hey, if some is good, more is better. And another hygiene must was Listerine. Do not, I repeat, do not be that person that no one wants to get up to and have a conversation with because they can smell last week's pot roast on your breath. Get your Listerine, get your mouthwash, have it close at hand. And make sure you have it, because the WWE, they are not providing it. And although it might sound gross, always have your athlete's foot spray. One of the worst things about showering in arenas all over the globe is stepping on those gross wet floors. Use this, even if it's just as a preventative. Never hurts to have this. And obviously you want your deodorant. Again, you don't want to be the guy that's smelling bad, that people hate the thought of having a conversation with you. But the last thing, something that was found in my bag and not many others, was the Nair. Now, I know what you're saying, Maven, most wrestlers are smooth. I guarantee you they're shaving their legs. Most were. But for hair loss, for making yourself silky smooth, nothing works better than this. The only issue is twofold. One, doesn't smell great. Kind of smells a little bit like rotten eggs. And two, you cannot get it on sensitive areas. So I was stuck with trying to find extra long tube socks wherever I went. But some guys I would actually talk into using Nair. I know RVD was one guy who actually used there, and I think still uses it to this day. You're welcome, Rob. Arguably, the most important hygienic item in this entire bag was my Cottonelle butt wipes. And I'm not gonna go into what you do with those. If you don't know, I can't help you. In fact, I was walking backstage one time holding an entire thing of wipes, and I had a few of the divas walk by me, and they informed me that I was gross, to which I then inferred and told them, I'm not the gross one. Whoever doesn't use those wipes, they're the gross ones. Now that I'm done with my match and I'm clean, ready to go, but I can't go anywhere because I have to wait for my road buddy, Randy Orton, I'm gonna get hungry. Now, I mentioned in a previous video about what I would eat on the road, and it was never far behind. I would always have my regular almonds with me, but if I wanted something a little tastier, I might have some salted almonds. But trust me, these are always the best fuel when you're on the go. And to maximize space, I would always have a little baggie like this. Easy to go, easy to stow. So now that I've wrestled, I've got myself clean, got myself a little bit of a snack, I have to stay entertained. I was a big reader. I had my history book with me, and I love the magazines of my time. Couldn't go anywhere without your Maxim. And since I like to stay up on current events, I would have my U.S. News and World Report. Building a successful retirement. Still working on that one. Now, all of this, it's useful, it has its purpose, it has its place, but it's useless without this next item. And that would be something that every wrestler used every day, every trip, no matter where they were going. And I guarantee you, this was one of the first things every wrestler of my generation purchased. And that would be their Rand McNally 50 state entire country road atlas. Now, for all of you born after 1996, it used to not always be a feature where you could get in a car, punch in an address, or talk into your phone, tell them where you want to go, and voila, you would arrive there. Oh no, we used to have to actually look up the state, the city, wherever we were at. And we would have to pick our route, which road we were gonna take. The atlas was something that was pivotal in every wrestler's bag during my generation. And it's ironic because of all these items, of everything in this bag, even magazines. People might still read magazines. This is the one item that isn't probably in any wrestler's bag anymore. And it just goes to show how some things stay the same and others completely change. Now, I couldn't survive just by eating almonds. So to find out what I ate as a WWE wrestler, click the video on screen.